Hello everyone, Namaste, welcome everyone to Astral. Today I'm going to read monthly forecast reading for the sign of Taurus for the month of September 2022. Let's get started. So what I'm planning here is that first I'll do a energy mapping with the oracle cards, what kind of energies are surrounding you for this month, and then I'm going to pick cards for three different messages. One, the overall message for your uh, sign, what is the overall message, and then one layer of message would be for your career, and the last layer of the message would be for your relationships. The relationships aspect could be related to work, related to love, depending on which cards show up, where the focus of your relationships would be. I'll try to specify that and give you the overall message. So let's see that what is the energy that you have. Let's see what the oracle cards are bringing in here, and two cards fall out for you: grounding and impasse. And let's see what other cards are there. Planting seeds. And a couple of cards from the astrology deck, which aspect of astrology is getting highlighted for you for this month. So you have fifth house of passion. Aries also had this card, and then you had Vesta, the heart. So, yeah, at least this card is different. This card is the same for both of you. What I'm seeing here is that uh, the energies this month are taking you towards exploring what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, where are your hidden treasures, your own capabilities, in your own way of handling things, and where is the fertile ground in your space. Some people tend to actually do a lot of things at the same time, but they are very good at few things and they just drag themselves in few things because it's important to get those things finished, but then they definitely don't see them thriving in that. And this month is for you to reflect and understand what are the things where you can be more successful without less effort, and then try to direct more energies there, because if you can direct more energies there, you can actually get more profits in a way if you want to start a business around that, because it's something new is going to start for you in a specific area which is your comfort zone. That's what I'm seeing here. The fifth house passion and the Vesta here is talking about your heart, where your heart is. So, giving my own personal example is like, for me, my day job is okay. I do like that work as a day job, and I enjoy that. But there are certain aspects which where I'm just dragging myself. Like, I'm a university researcher. I do like researching a lot of things, but I hate the writing part that comes along with that, where I have to communicate it and write it and explain it to the larger crowd. And it's a task in itself. Uh, and I'm either I can learn those things and plant new seeds there, giving my own example. And on the other hand, I'm very good at tarot card reading and astrology, and I can plant new seeds there, because both the sides are quite passionate for me in a way where I enjoy the research aspect in both the sides, because tarot and oracle cards are also research oriented, right? You have to dig deep in the psychology by reading through the cards, the images, and uh, through the placement of planets in the sky. It's deep psychological research, I would say. Especially astrology is all research. People say that you can learn astrology in few months and you can be a very good astrologer. I don't believe that. It is a lot of research and lot of practice. Same as with any other thing. So wherever your heart is, for me it's divided. I gave you my personal example, but for you it may not be divided into two aspects. It could be just one thing, and it's not my sun sign or moon sign or ascendant, so it does, that's why it doesn't hold good for me, because uh, it's not directly for me. So that's why my example was a little divided, but I usually like to personalize things to explain it better. But for you, you will have a moment this month that, okay, this is something I should pursue, and I will start small, and I will grow into this in the coming months to be more independent, to be more happy, to be more successful. That's the energy for you for this month. Let's now look into the tarot to see your overall message. And then, after seeing the overall message, we'll see your career message and also your relationship message. So, your overall message is, first we have seven of swords. 7 or 8? 8 of swords. That's the problem with many tarot decks, that if you keep the cards little away, it's difficult to read, but it's at a good distance because you can look, and I have more cards to come down here. So we have 2 of cups, which is good. Then we have 5 of pentacles, 10 of wands, and judgment, and also 3 of swords. I was intending to pick up only 5 cards, but for you now it's 6 cards. So for the next rows also I'll try to pick 6 cards. What is wrong with you? Why are you feeling frustrated? That's the first question that I want to ask. But there's nothing wrong with that. Only when you feel frustrated, you reflect deep into your own inner self to find that grounding. Once you find that grounding, then you can plant a seed. So there's nothing wrong with that. If you are feeling frustrated and you are feeling that you are self-restricted right now and you cannot do anything, it's perfectly fine to go through that feeling. Only if you hit the rock bottom, then you get a new strategy, fly high, and each time you hit the rock bottom and then you start flying high, you fly little more higher than the previous time. So it is quite nice for you in that way. And then what I'm seeing here is that someone in your close vicinity, someone who is very close to you emotionally, maybe at work, maybe as a friend, maybe as a family member, I think it is at work because the pentacles and wand cards are there, but it could be anyone. But for most of you, it would be at work. Someone with whom you share a bit strong emotional bonding will move away from you to create, or has already moved away from you to create a vacuum in your life. And that vacuum is the whole problem of feeling that lowness and that frustration. But that is fine, because that will help you to come out of a new judgment about yourself, to understand what is your own strength to see yourself in a new dynamics and emerging out of a heartbreak, because this person has moved away and uh, leaving lot of burden on you. So you feel little frustrated, you feel little overwhelmed, but then it's okay. It could be on any other aspect of your life, but I'm taking a guess based on the cards that it is at your workplace, but it can be anything else. So now let's see what's happening at your workplace. Workplace, we have Two of Pentacles, then we have Queen of Cups, the Mother of Cups, Mother of Swords. I think someone in your workspace has, with whom you shared a very strong trust levels, has moved away, leaving you in a space where you are feeling little more frustrated. But never mind, because what I'm seeing here is that you're moving away from that frustration and you're moving away very strongly. What I see here is the Two of Pentacles, leaving you in a situation where you are juggling between a lot of things, and because you are now overburdened and juggling between a lot of things, what you are uh, motivated to do is to move away from your emotional side to a very logical side. You definitely don't want to trust anyone anymore, and you want to see people for who they are. You want to move away from the glasses which showed you emotions. Just want to take away those glasses from your face, and you want to wear a glass of logic. And both are two extreme sides, but right now, because you were in on one side of the extreme where you were too emotional, it's good for you to get on to the other side where you are overly logical. But I would always remind you that being on extremes are never helpful. You have seen being on the emotional side on a very extreme level, it didn't help you. To find that balance, maybe in the month of September, it is good to be on the logical extreme, but coming in October, in November, December, I would request you to have healthy boundaries and don't get overly logical, because that will also create a situation where somewhere the hidden emotions will try to bring out uh, your nice vibes of emotions, and if you don't have healthy boundaries, you will feel very confused. So start creating boundaries, that this is where my logic ends and this is where my emotional attachment ends, and now I'm know that at the end of the day you have to be happy by yourself. If you cannot be happy with your own self, it doesn't matter who is next to you in your workplace, in your personal life, in your day-to-day life, whatever you are doing. So you will find that boundary by end of September, and you'll try to take it forward. Otherwise you will end up in a confusing phase of mind. Nevertheless, if you find that boundary, good for you. If you don't find that boundary and you're feeling confused, still you will move forward in a very positive way in your life. You will if you find those boundaries in which you have to work, having nice balance between emotions and nice balance between emotions and logic, then you will move forward with your strength. But if you don't find that boundary and you are confused, you still move forward, but you are moving forward with a lot of confusion. So that's the difference, that some of you will move forward with healthy boundaries, some of you would move forward with some confusion, but still you will move forward in your career in a very nice way. In your relationships, see, we were talking about balance, and the Temperance card shows up that You need to have balance to build healthy relationships in your life. And then we have Seven of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, Five of Wands, Five of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. What I'm seeing here is that only when you find that balance, you would have comfort that if people are doing the same thing, leaving you in between, both in your personal life, in your love life, and in your uh, career, in your work life, because we have Five of Wands and Five of Cups here. And what I'm seeing here is that only when you are happy with yourself, you can reap the benefits from people in your workplace and in your personal love life. If you are not keeping that balance and you're not happy with your own self, you will reap benefits of your relationships at your workplace and in your love life. But then the problem is that sooner or later you will have to go through the same cycle again, maybe a year later, maybe a couple of years later, maybe 10 years later, depending on where you are in your personal journey. But what the cards are telling is that focus on yourself, focus on building those healthy boundaries for yourself, focus on loving your own self first, finding happiness within your own self. And it's easier to say this uh, openly, but it is very tough to find that happiness. I myself struggle with it a lot of times, few months in the row. I'm very happy with myself, I'm very happy with others, and then there is a setback somewhere in uh, personal life or in career or somewhere, and I'm on the other side. And it happens to each one of us, but we are work in progress. We have to constantly remind ourselves, and we have to constantly build some kind of understanding that where you have to be in future. That's where uh, uh, now I want to remind you back about planting new seeds and grounding yourself and reflecting and redirecting your energies, because what I'm seeing here is that there is a very good possibility to build very strong relationships for you, both at work life and in your love life, because these are all interlinked. If you have a frustrating day at your workplace, you might show that frustration in your love life. And that's what is happening here, that the cards are telling that focus on yourself, ground yourself, find your sweet spot, plant new seeds in that sweet spot, and reflect and redirect positive energy there, and you'll see a change in your life. And the wheel of fortune moves in your favor. So that's your reading, Taurus. I hope this was useful for you, and do leave your comment how you find this reading useful. It would be a great help. If you want to have a personal reading with me, visit my website astral.com. The link is given below. And until next time, bye bye and namaste. Have a safe day, safe month, and be happy.